Today on CCX News, big impact. What we're hearing from local hotels as Minneapolis plays host to the Big Ten women's and men's basketball tournaments. A disappointing winter ended the Maple Grove Ice Castles attraction after only a week's run. But there's hope this spring for tourism dollars. I spoke with local tourism officials who hope to cash in on major sporting events coming to the Twin Cities. March Madness is here as fans descend upon the Twin Cities for Big Ten tournament basketball. Yet the excitement isn't centered entirely around the Target Center, roughly 18 miles away.
We're happy to welcome them.
Staff at the Cambria Hotel in Maple Grove have Big Ten tournament brackets and signage proudly on display.
We have those sports fans that may not want to be in downtown, but want to be here, and Maple Grove's the place to be.
Cambria's sales and marketing director Diane Ochterkirk says the hotel is perfectly situated along I-94 near plenty of bars and restaurants.
If you don't want to stay downtown, we've got everything you need without being downtown.
She can't say for certain how many guests are here for the Big Ten tournament, but they're doing their best to cater to the ones who are.
We want to have the women's games and the men's games on TV for them to watch and enjoy.
The hotel works closely with the local tourism organization Experience Maple Grove to promote the area. And Dr. Kirk's hope is that as more major events come to downtown Minneapolis, folks will be willing to make the 20-minute drive to stay in one of the 129 rooms here.
Throughout the entire summer, you've got these large soccer tournaments, and then you've got USA Volleyball downtown, and don't forget the USA Gymnastics Olympic trials. So we'll see some folks.
The next opportunity to see those folks will be next week when the Big Ten's men's tournament comes to town.
You know, folks who still want to come into town and catch all the action, we've got availability.
The Big Ten women's tournament is sold out thanks in large part to Caitlin Clark, the generational star of the Iowa women's basketball team. The staff member at Wayzata Public Schools received special attention at Thursday night's State of the Union address.
I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans. I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you.
Keenan Jones works at Wayzata Central Middle School. The president mentioned Jones to tout administration fixes to provide additional student loan forgiveness, which Jones said helped him continue his teaching career. Biden also made a call to give public school teachers a raise. The field of candidates for Minnesota Teacher of the Year has been trimmed to 27 semifinalists. The list includes 4 teachers in the CCX News viewing area. Those semifinalists include Jean Fila from Plymouth-based Intermediate District 287 and Northern Star Online, Sarah Gleason from Meadowbrook Elementary in Golden Valley, Ryan Hennessy from Maple Grove Senior High School, and Jenny Peterson from Robbinsdale Transition Center. 10 finalists will be announced after a review process in mid-March. The Minnesota Teacher of the Year will be announced on May 5th. It's a common scene throughout local city halls right now. City councils deciding on street projects for the upcoming season. A common complaint heard from residents, street assessments that cost too much. Golden Valley approved residential assessments for one project north of Duluth Street and west of Winnetka Avenue. For the project to occur, some homeowners will pay nearly $10,000 in assessments. Officials say Golden Valley has used assessments to pay for projects for many years.
Switching from not doing special assessments to something like funding via property taxes, the downfall there is you've assessed properties last year. The projects this year will then be funded by property taxes. So the folks that are being assessed for their specific streets are not going to pay for everybody else's streets on top of their own.
The city is in the final stretches of completing reconstruction of all streets that haven't seen improvements since the 1960s. A Plymouth man is finding buyers for his cool new invention. Reporter Kevin Miller has the story.
A lot of trial and error, trying things.
After 6 years of tinkering,
Being able to just work with the different fabrics, the different straps.
followed by some tweaking,
Those kind of moments where you have those aha moments where like, oh wow, this is actually going to work. You'd have a towel to put down, your sunscreens.
Plymouth resident Joe Higgins was finally ready to bring his product to market.
You got a big thermos you could put in the side.
It was inspired by a common but rugged piece of industrial design, the 5-gallon pail. He used one as a seat while out fishing, but didn't want to take a separate cooler.
I started to look for a similar product and there wasn't anything out there, and then I eventually just started to make my own. Got the 5-gallon bucket, started putting insulation around it.
He eventually designed the cool stool.
You're gonna bring up the side poles. That just goes over the top. Then you got your seat.
It's part chair,
You just throw it on your back.
part backpack,
Obviously it's a cooler,
and part cooler.
so got some drinks displayed there.
It's been popular with the hunting, fishing, and sports crowd.
You got the rod holders.
In fact, it's out of stock and is waiting on a new order.
But the next order is going to be about double what that first order was, so I'm hoping to get some momentum from that.
And soon,
Had the minnows in there as well.
we could see them on store shelves.
Starting to get some interest from retailers, so I'd like to be in some more retail shops coming up in this next year.
In Plymouth, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
Higgins' older models sold for $100. The next production run will have new features and may cost a little more.
The state girls basketball tournament is next week, and a handful of local teams played their section finals Thursday, including Maple Grove.
The Crimson, the top seed in Section 5-4A, taking on third-seeded Moundsview with a trip to state on the line. Kate Raber, who had a big game in the semifinals against Park Center, hits a runner off the glass for Moundsview to give them a 12-9 lead. But then the Crimson go on a 15-0 scoring run to take control of the game. Jordan Odie with a three-pointer. She had another big night for Maple Grove. Addie Hanna passes to Claire Stern, who's open underneath for two. Maple Grove takes a 30-15 lead into halftime. Bria Stenstrom drives, spins, and scores in the lane. The Mustang senior scored her team's first 15 points in the second half, but it wasn't enough. Maple Grove really shot the ball well in the second half. Ava Cassette from Claire Stern, and Cassette with a three from the wing. 16 points on the night for the senior. Then it's Kate Holmquist with a wide-open look, burying a three-pointer. 32 points for Maple Grove in the game's final 9 minutes. And they pull away to win their first section title in 5 years, 80-48 the final.
This is awesome. I mean, this is what we've been working for. We've been here 2 times and fallen short, so this just feels amazing to finally grab it and be able to go to state.
For a 6th straight year, it's Wayzata and Hopkins girls basketball facing off in the Section 6-4A final. Chaz Moots has the highlights.
Hopkins beat Wayzata in the 2 meetings in the regular season, but it was the Trojans who got off to a great start. Sarah Hyde with a nice spin, driving to the paint, bounce pass to Sophie Hawkinson, who drains the triple from the wing. The Royals struggled generating offense early. London Harris provided a spark, though. Corner 3 from the junior. Trojans respond. Hyde with a bucket going through contact. Wayzata with a 10-point lead, up 24-14. Tatum Woodson did not let things get out of hand, though. She was hot from behind the arc. Wayzata up 33-31 at halftime. In the second half, Liv McGill got things going with her passing. She goes around the Trojan defense, then fires a dime to Lacedra Williams. Royals up 51-43. Hawkinson led the way for Wayzata, scoring a game-high 23 points. Great finish on the and one in transition. But Hopkins with a little more juice. Midway through the second half, McGill with the and one on the floater. She finished with 13. Woodson paced Hopkins with 22, including this desperation off-balance 3 right before the shot clock went off. Hopkins wins it 78-62 and claims their 10th straight section title.
We just believed in each other, believe in our game plan. You know, our coaches tell us what we need to do and we listen. You know, basketball is a game of runs. They had runs, we had runs, so that's really came down to.
For me, it's a dream because I put in a lot of work leading up to this moment, and then to accomplish it means a lot.
In Minnetonka, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
Benilde-St. Margaret's is a defending state girls basketball champion in Class 3A. The Red Knights were looking to get back to state Thursday.
The top-seeded Red Knights at home for the 6-3A final, hosting second-seeded Delano. Olivia Olson left wide open on this play, has no trouble knocking down a three, breaking an 11-all tie and giving the Red Knights the lead for good on the night. Sahara Bishop is double-teamed on the block, so passes out to Kate Kapster, and she hits for three. Red Knights up 24-16. Olson draws the extra defender, passes to Sydney Friedley, who drains another three-pointer. 14 points in the night for Friedley. BSM leads by 13 at the half. Second half, Olson spins, shoots, and scores over the smaller defenders for two more. The University of Michigan commit with a huge night. Then she starts a drive, stops and hits the off-balance runner for the basket and foul as BSM extends its lead. Olson nets 40 points on the night, and the Red Knights are headed back to state with an 83-64 win over Delano.
We're hoping to get back to the state championship, and we're going to rally around each other every game. To do that, we're working hard in practice every day, and we just want to get to our ultimate goal.
It's so awesome. I mean, I'm so excited for our team. We worked so hard all season, and this is just everything put together. I'm just so happy for our team.
One other section girls basketball note from Thursday. Totino Grace earned a spot at state with a 1-point win over Monticello in the Section 5 3A championship. More CCX News after this.